Serious those of you from the early days of the internet, what online mysteries do you remember that remain unsolved? Attention! Serious tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment, parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. Anybody remember cutoffmyfeet.com? A guy had terrible foot pain and wanted to amputate, so the website said he was taking donations for entry into a contest to be the person who, via the internet, would be able to push a keyboard key that activated a homemade guillotine to remove his affected feet. The whole thing was planned out with a scheduled date and audience. Ambulance would be already called. Never heard what happened. I had a previous Reddit account made during the Dig Exodus. This was at least a decade ago when Reddit was pretty new. I came across a post from a guy who swore that a particular website that looked like a generic local news site with the usual AP and Reuters news feeds was actually a government-run intelligence program. It functioned like a numbers station in plain sight, meaning that the exact wording used would match up with a one-time use pad and provide intelligence info. I cannot remember the exact website, but it looked unimpressive and the domain was registered in Bahrain, despite appearing to cater to a mid-size US city. He then said he was being harassed in real time since he made that post. Then he said he got doxxed and strangers were calling him telling him to cut it out. I tried to reply to his post a few minutes later, but then found that his Reddit account and every post he made were deleted. What was that all about? Back in the days of war dialing, there were so many weird phone numbers that were discovered that led to weird recordings or just did weird shit. I'd love to hear about what some of those were about. grngecko.com/torment was crazy to me. I don't remember how I found it, but it started you out on this puzzle that wasn't too difficult to solve, but it just kept giving more puzzles with increasing difficulty. I remember having a full notebook from writing stuff down trying to figure out how to solve them. I eventually got stuck and went to some forums to find out there were people who put in some work trying to complete it, but I don't believe anyone ever reached the end. They eventually took it down and the creator put up a new series of puzzles that was solved within the first couple days. I was always curious what was at the end of that grngecko puzzle. That website is what made me have a love for puzzles and riddles. The identity and motives of Otaking, a troll who made the dialogue on the recarts.anime Usenet board grind to a slow, depressing halt around 1996 or so. They flooded the board all caps comments and posts, rendering the normal activity of the board slow and useless. They disappeared after a few months, but serious damage had been done. I never figured out what Zombocom was all about. Cracked had an article about this, I know, but there was an old forum a girl had about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I think, where she had over 40k posts, all by herself. As in, she would make topics and reply to them as the series progressed, or she watched seasons and episodes. IIRC4chan caught wind and started raiding, so she deleted the site altogether. I really wish I had more context, because it seems so interesting. I remember this random YouTube video where a guy kidnaps a girl and after 10 years, he posted a video titled Happy Anniversary and laughed like hell with some mystery puzzle at the end. When the hell is John Titor planning to show back up? Back in the day there was a site called Bonsai Kitten claiming to sell real kittens grown in glass jars. It was a hoax website but people actually believed it. I remember the mystery surrounding John Titor, the time traveler. He even has his own Wikipedia article. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/John_Titor. Whether My Immortal, famously the worst fanfiction of all time, was written by a troll or not. The Enigma conspiracy theory about Pink Floyd's album The Division Bell died with Usenet's popularity before it ever led to either the treasure the band had allegedly hidden somewhere for fans to find or the identity of the person connected with the band who was contributing to the theories. When The Simpsons did the Who Shot Mr. Burns cliffhanger, they had a contest to see if anyone could solve it. On The Simpsons Usenet there was one commenter who solved it using the clues correctly, as opposed to just a lucky guess. The showrunners tried all that they could to find the person but never did. Not necessarily exclusively an internet thing, but the website for the Heaven's Gate cult is still up and maintained. These are the folks that committed group suicide because they believed that if they died when the Hale-Bopp comet was passing they would ride it through a magical gate to paradise. http://www.heavensgate.com. I've always wondered about Ted the Caver. I think his original posts was on GeoCities, but he had this whole blog about going caving in some more unknown areas and hearing/smelling weird noises and deathly flesh similar to a Wendigo. The leprechaun sighting in Crichton. I want to know if an entire neighborhood came together to fake it, if something was in the water, a real leprechaun was seen, but most importantly, I want to know where the gold at. Just after the first Harry Potter film was made there was a creepy website with photos of Hermione's face very badly photoshopped onto various sexy celebs' bodies. There was no nudity but it was still creepy, especially as he had a countdown clock until Hermione was legal. The mystery, I suppose, is whether the person who made the site was a for real weirdo or if it was some weird sort of parody/satire. I never saw the site again, so don't know how it progressed in later years, and you'd never find it now without getting yourself on some sort of list. The identity of Tub Girl. Back before the internet, before AOL was a big thing, me and some buds made a relay message setup that used some abandoned telegraph lines in my town. We were too cheap to pay for the phone time, and C64s. And we made these cards that would send out electrical pulses that would be deciphered on the other end. It was painfully slow, like 2 bits a second, and could take an hour to get a large message across. Also one person could send a message at a time or the receiver would get mixed letters. Now that I think about it, it was basically a telegraph that was operated by computers. Our computers would identify themselves to each other and we could see who sent the message looking at a 3-digit identification code that would be sent with a message automatically. One day I was sitting listening and waiting for my friend to send me something. We would call ahead to let each other know before we sent so the other party could receive. I started getting a message that had no identifier and it read something like, If memory doesn't fail me, Echo Cadillac 275610473018493. It spat random numbers. The message played for about 5 minutes and wasn't too long, but I called my friend and he got it too. We never did figure out what that was. It was a closed system on abandoned telegraph lines that had been cut. We ended up blaming it on a computer error in BASIC or something, but it never happened again. Or maybe some kid from school found out and wanted to mess with us. Who knows? Fun times. Nobody to this day knows how strong bad types with boxing gloves on his hands. The Mayday mystery. There were a load of conspiracy theories like a cult, government recruiting, the Illuminati, and etc. Basically, this guy found this weird cryptic ad in his school paper, and turns out that they date back to the early 80s, possibly even further, and still continue to this day. The ads included the word Mayday, and a lot of ciphers and math. Apparently, the guy who discovered this was messaged by the mysterious group who made it, although I'm a little skeptical about that. Who killed Lord British? I don't think the person who did it ever revealed who they were. How the fuck have we still never seen a picture of CJC, the founder of Game FAQs? How come every time I tried to download a new Backstreet Boys album it was just porn? Every time. Not from the early days but the stories and conspiracies of Cicada 3301 sound amazing. Shame they haven't posted a puzzle in years though, or figured out the last one. All of those posts from a bunch of different accounts from a bunch of different social media sites that were all about Captain Coochie's key lime pie. Captain Coochie's was a local restaurant that closed a long time ago. I seriously wonder what all that was about. I can't remember the name of the channel, but I remember the mystery being set around early YouTube days. There was this one girl doing vlogs in YouTube and she had quite a following. Then she started uploading stuff about being stalked and she was afraid someone was after her. After some time, she completely vanished and stopped uploading. Do you guys remember Rotten website? It was a site with plenty of brutal stuff, decapitations, heads destroyed by a helicopter blade, suicide victims, stuff like this. Basically gore on 4chan. Time Cube. Definitely not the earliest internet story. But still pre-2010. My high school came out with a smash or pass site that included every classman. Feelings got hurt and administration found a way to get it to shut down. But there was another site. A site that only included the senior class of 2009. It was an invite-only club as well and was basically a private chat forum. Then a user by the name of Ponycock joined the site. Ponycock knew everyone's dirty secrets and spilled them out. Everyone was getting trolled. Reputations were ruined within minutes. And if he didn't know your secrets, he would just troll instead. One of my upperclassmen friends was really proud of his then current GF and he told him that she was a nice grenade. Everyone made fun of him for it and so they split up. Real havoc was going down. But to this day, nobody could find out who Ponycock was and his trolling remains undisclosed. There was a site I found only once and have never been able to relocate. The whole of it seemed to consist of cryptic text in various patterns, with links to other cryptic text in various patterns. The links would be on whole words or sometimes individual letters. It's hard to explain how, but going through the pages gave you the sense that you were going somewhere, that it wasn't just endless randomness but some kind of puzzle to be solved. I never solved it and neglected to bookmark it. Now that 486 computer is a scrap heap. Back when tripod and angelfire were a real thing, we had a guy who hated the mayor of a local town and had his own little stalking/hate page. In addition to stuff like mayor is watching cartoons instead of having the potholes fixed and that the police force was undermanned and overworked, he went absolutely nuts in the winter because the road that the mayor lived on was likely to be plowed first and kept well plowed. The absolute classic from that time was when the mayor did something that the hater didn't care for and he said about that mayor, "That took some real testicle fortitude." For years after that I'd go for a hike, motorcycle ride, or whatever with friends and for sure, someone would ask, "Do you have the testicle fortitude for this?" Note: https://slate.com/human-interest/2015/015/bill-simmons-testicular-of-the-etymology-of-the-hyphen-html. Not early internet, but early Facebook. The developers of Facebook used to look through everyone's photos and make comments on them in a tooltip that with JavaScript would disappear after being read once. Very few people remember that BS now. Delia Day was pretty trippy. Self-hosted, super hardcore 24/7 BDSM lifestyle. Her partner. She later killed him and it came out she was an actual slave, not consenting. She had a brief blog after, once people put the dots together, in like 2003 I think. Haven't found it in a while though. Also, the Blowfly Girl. I really wanna know if there's a sequel to Hotel 626. I was on StumbleUpon and I remember a story about a Russian boy who had knowledge of ancient civilizations even though he was from a small town in Siberia. He claimed to be an alien who was sent down to Earth and grew in his host, the mom. Can't remember why he was sent to Earth but I haven't been able to find that story since. Whatever the hell blank room soup was. I remember watching that on some video website pre-YouTube in about 2004, and I thought it was some weird Japanese commercial. Then Rainbot makes a video last year and we still don't exactly know, apart from the fact the costumes were stolen from some stage show. AOL keyword, Clay. If you went there, you would just get a message that said sorry, you're not cool enough for this group or something like that. I emailed AOL help about it and they didn't know what it was. Always kind of weirded me out. When I was 10 I would get messaged on AOL a lot from a person asking how I would like to cannibalize a willing person. Looking back, I guess it was some sort of fetish. At the time I didn't know what to think. LOL. I think their screen name started with Jag. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=g-sl4ejpp94, an internet story. Some say there's another reward waiting. Not sure if this counts but the max headroom/Dr. Who incident has been discussed on the internet for decades without those involved ever being identified. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/max_headroom_broadcast_signal_intrusion. It's a cool story because it's the cliché where hackers do something harmless just because they can accept this really happened and nobody is even sure of how. I've read that they would have needed to overpower the signal that the station was broadcasting, but to do that they would have needed to be close to the station and using very expensive and powerful gear. Who wrote SQL Slammer, an early internet worm? I work in cybersecurity. I remember at the time it was released it was crazy the damage it did. Took down 90% of all infectable hosts within 10 minutes or so. Many believe it was an early cyber weapon test. If you get into the technical details of the thing, it's wild, so crazy efficient its entire source code sat in a single packet. More info, https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/SQL_slammer. John Titor. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/John_Titor. A long time ago I was chatting with someone over IM and he somehow managed to open my CD tray over the internet. To this day, I have no idea how TF he managed to do that. The model websites. There used to be dozens of these websites of underage fashion models that people would pay money to for picture sets of them in skimpy clothing. I remember they would offer a VIP photo shoot for a lot of money, which I imagine involved straight up porn or prostitution, which was super creepy. All these websites mentioned that their uncle was the photographer. It certainly seems like they all belong to the same child predator network. They were around for years until Oprah ran a special on them, and soon after they all disappeared at the same time. Really weird stuff. Note, don't try to repeat their names. A lot of current websites have an auto-filter/auto ban feature despite them not existing for a long time. The identity of Blood Ninja, the greatest internet troll of all time. AHH, those were the days. Edit, chat logs for those of you unfamiliar with this legend. Why 90% of my illegal downloads were Bill Clinton's sexual relations speech. How Sprint would advertise 0.0.0.0 via BGP at least once a month, causing a BGP root storm across the entire internet and not figure out how to prevent it. John Titor, the 2000 time traveler who never warned us about 9/11. Whether or not the X-Files is based on real FBI files. Was this picture really Tara Calico? Otherwise, who was it? And where are they? Tara Calico. Last time this came up, I brought up www.hell.com, which was this website where you kept clicking through weird cryptic pages that led you down a rabbit hole, more weirdness. But apparently people told me it was some experimental art project or something. So, mystery solved. I always wondered if anyone, obviously by coincidence, died at the time of their death clock. It was a link from board.com, I think. You entered in your birth date and where you were from and it had a death countdown. Anyone else remember this? There was a Canadian housewife who apparently had raw dog sex with everybody in Canada, and never took a day off due to an UTI, or any other malady. She had a website that updated multiple times a day and didn't charge anything, and was chock full of the wildest sex scenes you could imagine. From what I hear, she's still going, at nearly 60 years old, although more in a mentor role, and still routinely tests negative. I'm baffled. The identity of Goatsy. Back as Y2K was approaching, there was some nut job who was able to spam just about the entire world. Each message was some nebulous but dour rant forecasting doom and gloom. It came off almost like a radical apocalyptic Christian zealot, but it wasn't explicitly religious. The guy was everywhere, but fell utterly silent on January 2, 2000. I remember one from around 2002 that had a countdown to an event if I remember right. It was a camera found in somewhere remote that had images of something being built, and the person sharing it said he was in danger for sharing the images and information. That's all I remember. Never knew what happened with it though. It almost could have fitted into the film 2012, it was that crazy. Really young, really stupid. Use of YouTube. Not sure how I got there, what it was called, or even if it was a fake YouTube website. But I saw a video with music, that song in Toy Story when Buzz is in Sid's house, trying to fly out and falls, of this guy with a mower blade or something gleefully chopping people up as they run away in terror. He killed a guy with a decapitation-ish thing, the head was cut off from the mouth up, that slid to these two people cowering. I freaked out and left, never saw it again. Edit. Also I think it was in black and white. The song was, I Will Go Sailing No More. It has been found. Brain Dead, our movie. Thanks to you/DJ1066. What happened to this girl on MIRC? It started in about 1999. I think she was sick. We chatted a lot, got in trouble for long distance calls, interstate. Tried to meet her at a festival when I traveled to her city in 00/01 with my sister, and I actually saw her in a pink cowboy hat, then I chickened out. We chatted for a bit longer and poof, gone. No clue. Sorry Nita from Sydney. I actually can't remember her handle now, I'm trying to think of it. Sorry Nettie from Sydney. Mr. Me. Edit. OMG, I found the right handle name in a 20-year-old email account. Edit. Totally just remembered my dumb ass handle also. Lonely Girls Vlog. It started innocent enough, then she got involved on some weird cult shit, and it became obvious that it was scripted. But they fooled me for a while. In a couple of words, Prodigy and Netscape. The whole damn thing was a mystery, compared to today's internet. The really mystery was 1200 baud modems. How did we ever master the patience necessary to be on the internet on those days? This might be less serious than the others, but it's still something that eludes me. I was young, and my family had a subscription to AOL, where I had one of the kids' accounts that you could change the theme of. I remember that one was Mario themed. In each theme, things changed, like the inbox button was on Mario's mailbox or something, stuff like that. But also, there was a huge Bob OMB on the screen, with a big red button next to it that said do not touch. I was of course extremely intrigued by this, but since I'd already damaged the family computer with Beyblade magnets, I didn't want to risk anything that might damage it if I could help it. In retrospect, I know it wouldn't have released a virus or anything, but I still have no idea what pressing that Bob OMB's button did, and I haven't been able to successfully Google it.